I'd be glad to open up to any questions. You can ask about healthcare legislation. Frankie, you could ask me about anything. Feel free to ask me about any topic. And please, if you could maybe give me your name and what you do here and what city you live in here in Central Ohio.
My name's Hubert Hawley. I live in Columbus. I'm a tool and die maker here. My question will be, as a U.S. Senator, what will you do, other than just voting on bills, to try and help the job situation in this country and our state?
I appreciate that question. There's a lot of issues that people are passionate about. I am so focused on economic issues and jobs that we actually deleted the www from our website. And we start our website with the word jobs. So our website is actually jobs.joshmandel.com. If you look at that folder that you're receiving there, that the gentleman's handing out, you look at the front of it, it has the word jobs in it, jobs.joshmandel.com. I could be wrong, but I don't think there's any other U.S. Senate candidate in America, Democrat or Republican, whose website starts with the word jobs. Because I believe the top three issues we should be focusing on as a country are jobs, jobs, and jobs. I brought with me here this jobs plan, and within it, within this jobs plan, we talk about a lot of my ideas how to put people back to work in this country. I can give you a few of them. It would take me hours to go through everything, but let me give you a few ideas that are in this plan, and I'll be glad to share this with you. It's also on our website. One of the important steps forward for, I believe, saving individual citizens dollars and also small business dollars so they can hire more people is reforming the tax code in this country. Our tax code is broken. When you are essentially forced to hire someone to fill out your tax return, and these tax returns get thicker and thicker and thicker, I believe the system is broken. It's good for lawyers and accountants who make a lot of money off it, but it's not good for middle-class families who might not have $500 or $1,000 to throw around to go hire someone to help file their tax return. So I think the tax code needs to be simplified first. Secondly, I believe that when we have, by and large, lower tax rates and a broader base, at the end of the day, it creates economic growth. That if we're taxing at lower rates, but there's more people paying into the system because they're working, because folks are hiring, because there are lower rates, I believe we have a stronger economy. And when you look at so many communities throughout this country with lower tax rates, very often you see higher economic growth. That's not by coincidence, it's not by accident. When you allow families and small businesses and citizens to keep their hard-earned dollars rather than paying higher taxes to the government, those dollars go farther. Whether or not those small businesses are reinvesting in equipment, or maybe they're hiring more people. Whether or not that husband and wife is investing in their retirement savings, or maybe they're starting their own small business, or maybe they're saving for their kids' education. I believe those dollars go farther when handled by individual citizens rather than handled by the government. Secondly, in order to be healthy long-term and to have an environment for job creation, we need to balance the federal budget. And this is an issue that I think can bring together Democrats, Republicans, and independents. When you're sitting around your kitchen table, your husband, your wife, your family, you're figuring out your family finances, right? Your monthly budget or your annual budget, and you're living within your budget. If you're at a small business, you own a hardware store, a pizza shop, a clothing shop, a little tech startup, same thing. You have to sit around the conference room table or the table out of the pizza shop, and you scratch out your finances and you figure out how to live within your means and balance that budget, month by month and year by year. It's been over 3 years since the United States Senate has even passed a budget, let alone a balanced budget. And one of the problems, I think, in Washington is that there's a set of politicians, career politicians, who think they can live by one set of rules, while all of us live by a different set of rules. I believe that politicians in Washington should have to live by the same set of rules that we live by. That if we have to balance our household budgets at our kitchen tables, if we have to balance our small business budgets, then they should have to do the same thing in Washington. 6 years ago, when our opponent was running for the United States Senate, he campaigned on a balanced budget amendment. About a year and a half ago or so, he voted against the balanced budget amendment. So to earn your vote, 6 years ago, he told you he was going to balance the federal budget. A little over a year ago, he voted against it. We can't let people get away with that. We can't allow politicians to do things like that. There's a nonpartisan group. It's a good mix of Democrats and Republicans that started this effort called No Budget, No Pay. That if they don't pass the budget in Washington, those senators shouldn't get paid. Can I see a raise of hands if you would support that? Good. I support it as well. I strongly support it. That if they're not going to pass the budget, if they're not going to do their jobs, they shouldn't get paid. A third component, I think, to creating jobs in Ohio specifically is having a common sense energy policy. I don't know if any of your family members work in or around the energy field, but there's this great opportunity not too far from here with the Marcellus Shale and Utica Shale with the shale gas. It needs to be done in a responsible way. We need to approach it in a way that protects the air we breathe and the water we drink and the environment for our kids and grandkids. But as long as we can do that, I think it could be a great job creator for Central Ohio and frankly for the entire state of Ohio. In North Dakota right now, they have approximately 3% unemployment. I read an article, they're paying McDonald's workers about 18 bucks an hour. In some areas I heard they're actually giving them signing bonuses. Think about that for a second. This ain't the NFL, this is McDonald's. In western Pennsylvania right now, the Marcellus Shale, where 5 years ago the mom and pop diner owner might have been on the verge of going out of business, today her shop is hustling and bustling. The waiters and waitresses are getting paid more. The cooks are getting paid more. There's incredible economic opportunity. The guy who owns the hardware store, the same thing. That same opportunity is happening here in the state of Ohio. And we could ask the question, do we want to depend on countries like Iran, where Ahmadinejad was funding roadside bombs against American troops during the Iraq War? Look at Egypt, where they just elected someone from a really very radical organization to lead their government. Saudi Arabia, the Grand Mufti, one of the religious leaders there, made a statement that all churches in the region shall be destroyed. We can depend on countries like that. Look at Venezuela, Hugo Chavez, calling essentially for the destruction of our way of life. We can depend on countries like that. Countries like that, or counties like Licking County, Ohio, Delaware County, Ohio, Ashland County, Ohio, Meigs County, Ohio, Belmont County, Ohio. The list goes on and on. This can be an economic revolution for us, a job creator for us. It'll bring down cost at the pump long term. It'll bring down the cost of heating our homes. It's a win-win-win. New jobs, affordable energy, national security, as long as we can do it in a responsible way. Sorry for a long answer to your question, but I'm very passionate about this jobs issue. There's a lot more in here. I touched on a few of the issues, but it's my number one issue.